In today's jazz guitar lesson, I'll show you my favorite melodic minor scale and the fascinating sus flat 9 chord. Hi my dear jazz guitar enthusiasts around the world, Sandra Sherman here. Greetings from Austria. The flat 9 sus 4 chord has a very distinct sound and makes for a great 5 chord. I'll teach you several chord voicings to play that sus flat 9 chord, and then you'll learn how to solo over it using a particular mode of the melodic minor scale. I've made tabs including regular music notation. I've made diagrams for the chords and for the scale diagrams. I've also made backing tracks, and you can download all this fun from one of the links down below in the description box. Please read the download instructions right next to these links. All right, let's dig right in. The sus flat 9 chord is a dominant chord that can function as a 5 chord that resolves to the 1 chord, and the 1 chord can be either major or minor. In this video we're going to resolve everything to major. Now let's take a look at the melodic minor scale that the sus flat 9 chord is derived from in order to get a better understanding for it and also to know what to improvise over it. Chords are built by stacking thirds. Doing so on the 2nd degree of the B flat melodic minor scale gives us a C minor 7 chord. Exchanging the 3rd by the 4th gives us a C7 sus 4 chord. Let's look at the tangents. Those are the tones above the 7th. We have a flat 9, the 11, which is the same as the 4th, and we have the 13th. This means that we can use the following dominant chords: C7 sus 4, flat 9 sus 4, and 13 sus 4. The flat 9 sus 4 or sus flat 9 respectively has a very distinct sound and is playable on guitar. That's why it's favored over the other given options. The C7 sus flat 9 chord consists of the following notes: C, F, G, B flat, and D flat. The 5th, which is the G, doesn't add any valuable information to the chord, so let's get rid of it. The remaining notes make for a B flat minor triad with the C in bass. This is called a slash chord. This view enables us to find more voicings. Let's check them out on guitar now and learn some licks to go over them. Alright, let's start with that position down here. First position, I'm looking for B flat minor triads, and they can be found within regular B flat minor chords like this one, right? I guess you all know this one. And we have several triads in here, and I just play the D, G on the 3rd and the B string 2nd fret. And now I'm searching for a C root, and I have one here. So here's my first C7 flat 9 sus 4 or C sus flat 9 chord. That's the same. That sounds a little muddy. It's okay if we played it up here, but down here it sounds a little too muddy for my taste. So what I can do is I move one of the tones up an octave. I take this one, the F, because this is the most muddy down here, and I play that F an octave higher, and what I get is another triad that was also included in this chord, this triad. 1, 2, 3 of the upper 3 strings plus this in bass. So, a lot clearer and more defined. So, by moving this F around, I get these two voicings. Oops. Alright? This is a B flat minor triad and this is a B flat minor triad. And that's all we need to do. Alright, let's move up the neck to the 3rd position by just inverting our voicings. I can actually invert this voicing. It would be this one, but I couldn't reach that C then. I don't have those large fingers. I don't know anyone who has. So what I do is I play this, I reverse this, I invert this. And what I get is this B flat minor triad. So that's the next inversion. 6, 6, 6, and now I can play the C in bass. This is still a stretch, but it's playable. C in place, no D string, and the upper 3 strings on the 6th fret. Right? Alright, and in the next position on the 6th fret, we have that missing link. Here's the missing link that I told you we can't fret this. Now we have a C down here, now we can fret it. C in bass, A string is not being played, and then the B flat, D flat, F. You need to bar this just up till the B string. That's one of the regular chords I play. And of course, the same as we had before, by playing the upper 3 strings, that's when I move this one an octave higher. I get this voicing we had before, but not with this C in bass, but this C. It's the absolute same thing. But I would prefer this stretch over this strange kind of holding. I need to have my elbow in my ribs here to get this good. So I prefer this in the 3rd position, and for the 6th I just play this one up until the B string. Okay, and for the last position I move up here to C in bass again, and here's a B flat minor triad inversion, the last one. 11, 10, 11 of D, G and B strings, plus the C in bass. Alright, that's a little strange to play. But it's a nice spread voicing, which means it has low lows and high highs. It's nicely spread, no mud in here, very clear and defined. Again, by moving the D flat up here to that D flat, I get the upper triad. So 8 in bass, and then 10, 11, and 9. Okay, this D flat was being moved to this D flat. Okay. Alright, now let's learn to play some lines over those chords. At the beginning of this lesson, you've learned that the C sus flat 9 chord appears on the 2nd degree of the B flat melodic minor scale. So this is the scale we're going to be using throughout the entire lesson. And throughout the lesson, we also resolved the C sus flat 9 chord to the F major chord. It's one chord. Alright, so here's the first lick. Alright, we start out on the 3rd fret, and I play that C, the root note, on beat 4 and hammer to the D flat. And I'm playing an inversion of a B flat minor triad, because we learned that's what the chord consists of. D flat, F, B flat. Here's a minor triad, B flat minor triad, in a triplet rhythm. The C is the root again. I use on the G string, I use that middle finger to be faster. Then the A is also in the scale, and I slide into the B flat, 2nd to 3rd fret, and here I start another B flat minor triad, this time in root position. Root, 3rd, 5th of the chord, that's 6 and 6 of G and B. And now I resolve to the F major chord, and that's the 3rd of the chord. Right, here's the F major, and I just play a reversed arpeggio. A, F, E, C. I end on count 2 and, because that's where jazz phrases usually end, on 2 and or 1 and, sometimes 3 and, but usually on an and. Right? let's move to the 5th, 6th area. All right, with this chord, where we had this chord, or this chord. All right, I start on the G, that's the 5th of the D string, 7, 8, 5 to 6 on the G. I bar over to the 6 and the 5 of E, and this makes for this chord actually. That's a B flat minor 6 chord with the major 7th on top. B flat minor 6 major 7. And that's a cool chord that I play a lot as a solo line. That's just so, I love it. Then the C and the B flat. And this resolves, half-tone resolutions are the best ever. And this one resolves to the F major chord. Here is the 3rd of the F major chord. See, I see always the chords, I always have chords in front of me, and those frets kind of look at me. They kind of look at me. Here's my resolution, and now just play around that arpeggio, this chord a bit. F, A, oh, that was a G, sorry. G, A, F, triller from E to F, down to C. 1. Now for the last area we've been to, that was with this chord, respectively this chord. All right, I start from this chord and play down descending. So that's D flat, B flat, F, D flat again, and now I go down the melodic minor scale, sorry, 10, 8, and now I have an enclosure that leads me to the resolution. I have this A in mind. This will be my resolution for the F major chord, okay? That's the 3rd of the F major. I love to land on the 3rd. Now I enclose it by, so where were we? I enclose it by from a half tone above and now below, below, target tone. So an enclosure is if you play from above and below and then you're on the target note. So you kind of play around it. And here is my target, F, A and F for the F chord. A little rest, and now I play the F major 7 arpeggio in triplets. 1, 2, and triplet, triplet. Right? See how I have this chord in mind, and for the F I have this chord and this chord in mind, so I already see my arpeggios and what I can play. If you're into these modern chord sounds and modern soloing concepts, please check out my chordal voicings, my alt scale theory and licks lesson, maybe my fusion modern jazz lines, and check out my entire channel. I have so many videos up here that you would probably like. If you like this video, please give it a fat thumbs up, share the love and the knowledge, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. I see you next week. Servus, baba.